After defeating the Red Line army and saving the people of the Metro and the Dark Ones, Artyom has a new goal. He talks about how people are born to live on the surface, not in the tunnels. If something of the real world has left, he has to find it. Artyom enters the tunnels. As he wanders, he burns off some webs to make his way easier. At some point, as he is doing this, a Watcher attacks him, but he defeats it easily. He continues his journey until more of those mutants attack him. He quickly goes through a door and tries to close it, but one of them stops him from doing that, so he stabs it in the eye. But another one jumps him immediately. Artyom ends that one's life too, but then another comes. There are too many of them. Luckily, he hears voices. It's Duke, Idiot, and Damir. They kill the rest of the mutants and recognize that it's Artyom who's been attacked and badly injured. They carry him to the doctor, but along the way he passes out. When he wakes up, his wife, Anna, is by his bed. She's worried that the next time he leaves the Metro, he might not come back, and he should accept that there are no people outside. Then Colonel Miller steps in. He scolds Artyom for being irresponsible and tells him the same thing as Anna. Miller also mentions that as soon as he sees Artyom is ready to head out, they will talk about his transfer to police. Then they leave, and the doctor enters. He tells him that they have to use blood on him, which could have saved others, and the doc might not be able to bring back Artyom next time. Artyom gets up to talk to some Metro dwellers, and everyone tells him that there is no chance of finding a livable place outside the Metro. Everyone except one kid who truly believes him. Artyom gets close to a door and overhears Anna and Miller arguing. Miller says that Anna and Artyom have to go back to police to recruit soldiers, and they need to let this dream of living on the surface go. Anna, however, defends Artyom, saying that what if he really heard a signal, and she wouldn't forgive herself for wasting this chance of real life. They agree that it will be discussed when Artyom is present. After they are done talking, Artyom enters the room where his friends are happy to see him. Miller interrupts them to say that they have 2 hours. The crew then celebrates. A week later, Artyom and Anna are trying to catch signals, but they are unsuccessful, so they decide to head back. On the way, Anna sounds skeptical about this and really considers moving to police. As they climb down a building, they reach a floor where mutants attack them, but they kill them. They leave the building, and Anna says that she doesn't understand why this area is off limits. Shortly after, a pack is coming, so they decide to take shelter behind a bus until the mutants leave, and then the two continue their journey until they spot a moving train. A car with seemingly allied soldiers arrive, so Anna and Artyom rush to get in so they can follow the train. But they are not their friends, and Artyom gets knocked out. When he gets his consciousness back, Anna tells him that the soldiers are Hansa. There are 2 other people in the car who inform them that they come from a village 200 kilometers away. Artyom was right. There is life on the surface. Suddenly the car stops and the soldiers take out the 2 villagers to execute them. Artyom can't let that happen. He jumps on one of the guards, but they unleash their dog, which attacks Artyom. He takes the dog off of him, but before he can react, he is shot in the chest. He then gets buried by the 2 villagers' dead bodies. When he collects enough strength, he pushes them off of him, but now he's out of air. He has to find a gas mask. Luckily, there is one next to him on another person's remains. Now he has to find Anna, but first he needs to deal with the pain. He is heading what seems to be the only way. After crawling under a collapsed bridge, he notices that at the end there is a medkit. Artyom uses it, and now he's feeling better, so he can concentrate on his journey. After some walking, he reaches a tunnel entrance. He crawls through it and reaches a room with the dead man and the dead mutant. After some sneaking around, he finds a trapdoor slightly opened. But before he could enter, he sees 2 soldiers throwing another man into the room, saying that they don't tolerate his behavior. After the soldiers leave, Artyom climbs out, scaring the old man. His name is Yermak. After he calms down, he realizes that Artyom is the man whom Anna screamed for and offers to help him. He distracts the guards while Artyom can sneak around in the shadows and if needed, knocks soldiers out. Yermak also teaches Artyom how to distract guards on his own. After some sneaking around, they arrive at a vent. Artyom crawls through and at the end he finds Anna behind a door with a guard. They start to fight and they fall through a door where another soldier is. Artyom, however, knocks both of them out. He reunites with Anna and shows her how he survived the shot. Hunter's badge stopped the bullet. The commander surprises them, hitting Anna and holding onto Artyom's gun, which starts firing, damaging the panels. Now Anna hits back at the commander and with Artyom surrounds him. He tells them that the panels are a part of a radio jammer which makes them invisible to other people around the world. Then a lot of green dots start to appear on the map, showing that there are a lot left of the world. The commander tries to alarm the soldiers, but Anna knocks him out. Yermak, the engineer, then arrives. He hands Artyom his gear. He also introduces himself and tells them how to reach the hangar so he can get them out of there. Anna asks why he helps, but he doesn't tell them yet. Anna and Artyom leave the building, and Artyom helps her reach higher ground to have a better look, while she tells him that he should watch his visibility gauge to know when he is seen. Artyom starts sneaking around, knocking guards out silently. They don't make it easy for him, but he reaches his goal. Now they have to find Yermak. Artyom turns off the lights so he can sneak around more easily. He climbs down and deals with a couple of more soldiers. He finds a ladder, climbs it, and finds the tied up Yermak. Artyom puts the guard to sleep and he reunites with Yermak and Anna. The engineer tells him that they have to turn the switch to activate the turntable mechanism, so they head upstairs and they can't sneak around anymore. Shooting breaks out, but the two Spartans deal with their enemies and turn the switch on. More soldiers arrive, giving Artyom and Anna a hard time and eventually blowing their floor up. Yermak tells them that the mechanism hasn't fully turned around, so they have to use the manual switch. While they do that, the enemies sounded the alarm. They hop on the train and try to ram the gates, but someone throws in a flashbang and they hit the ground. While they are on the floor, they find themselves surrounded by soldiers, on one side saying that they should execute them, while the others disagrees. Colonel Miller arrives and Anna recognizes the crew and they save her, Artyom and Yermak. Anna and her dad start arguing about how he knew everything. The crew is confused. The colonel promises to tell everything later. Anna and Artyom can't go back to Moscow because they'd be executed. Miller says he will get them out while telling the remaining Spartans to head back, but they refuse to leave them. Anna then calls Artyom outside and has a breakdown about all the secrets her dad has been hiding. They are interrupted by a Hansa train that almost collides with their train. They tell the crew to stop the train and start firing warning shots at them. The crew comes up with a plan. Artyom jumps on the other train and starts eliminating guards. Meanwhile, Miller makes contact with an officer. If they stop, they will be taken back and most likely be executed. That's not an option for them. Artyom approaches the firebox, places a bomb on that, and then jumps back on their train and activates the device. They successfully escape, then stop, and they find out that the air is breathable here. Miller opens up. They told him that the country is most likely still at war, and to prevent another nuclear attack on Moscow, they installed radio jammers to play dead. Anna and Artyom destroyed one of these devices, thus making the city visible to others. The crew became enemies of the command, who is responsible for making the jammers. They can't go back, so the only way is forward. Artyom gets the task to search the radio frequencies and find the Ark. After a while, he does find it. The announcer says that he is speaking from the Ark project base and gives some coordinates of a rally point, Yamantau Mountain, the crew's next goal. They celebrate and name the locomotive Aurora. Artyom is sitting outside as the train arrives at the Volga. Anna joins him. She's excited about the new life they could have outside. Soon, they notice a campfire and people around it. Anna alarms the rest of them and stops the train, while the unknown people start firing at them from a trolley. One of their bullets pierced a cylinder. They can't start the train. It will take at least a day to get it going. The people on the trolley headed into a village and a church on a lake. Miller sends out Artyom and Anna to gather some intel. Before they leave, Tokarev gives Artyom an improved backpack with a portable workbench, but he has to find materials for it. The two head to their goal. They reach the water, where Artyom continues on boat, while Anna is getting to higher ground to watch his back. Artyom reaches the church entrance, where villagers welcome him and say that Father Silantius just started his sermon and encourage him to join. Silantius preaches about how bad electricity is. When they notice Artyom, his flock wants to exile him and not to get the protection from the Tsarfish, but the pastor silences them. They then trap Artyom. He hears a woman's voice calling him, so he heads upstairs where he finds Katya and her daughter Nastya. They tell him that Father Silantius fooled their people into believing that electricity is bad. They get interrupted because the bridge guards arrive. Unlike the rest of the people, they have guns. They want to find Artyom. Katya tells him that there is a boat at the docks, so he escapes through a window. Anna then tells him that they will come back for them later. Artyom heads to the boat, knocking guards out, but before he reaches his goal, the guards notice him and starts firing at him, so he shoots back, killing one of them. He makes his escape and starts to row towards the train's direction. Anna tells him that she rescued the woman and her daughter. Artyom sees mutant shrimps jumping into the water from the shore and suddenly attack him. After defending himself, he faces a bigger threat. A huge fish starts to chew on his boat and he falls into the lake. Artyom swims to the land where Duke helps him get out. That was the Tsarfish. Duke stays behind to watch the village, while Artyom heads back to the train and on the way collects some materials. He arrives where everyone is happy to see him alive. Anna tells him that Katya has medical training. He then finds Miller questioning Katya and her daughter. They tell him about the cult and then he asks about the occupation forces, but they've never seen any army. Miller then calls Artyom aside. He praises his son-in-law for saving Katya and Nastya. They told him that a mechanic is hiding in a port and they need his help for the Aurora, not just now, but in the foreseeable future as well. His name is Crest. Miller also tells him that they know that the bridge is operational and well guarded, but they will talk about crossing it once Artyom comes back with Crest. Before he leaves, he pays a visit to Tokarev, who gives him a pneumatic gun. No gunpowder or noise. A perfectly stealthy ranged weapon. Artyom crosses the river and immediately has to put his guns to work. He takes out a watchman before it can alarm the others. He then finds a shed, which he uses to clean his weapons and make ammunition. After that, he continues his journey. On the way, he runs into more watchmen, but takes them out easily. Artyom reaches the entrance of a building, but before he can enter, a human mutant attacks him. He's never seen anything like that before. He eventually kills it and goes through the building. When he exits, he sees Crest waving from the top of a crane. Artyom starts moving in that direction. Near the crane, there is a building. He spots another human animal, so he shoots it. The thing is, there are a lot more of them around, and they start attacking him. They are capable of dodging bullets and throwing objects at him, so with a bigger number, they can be a big problem. The Spartan is victorious, however, and he starts climbing up the building. On top, he runs into more mutants, but with Crest, they take them out, and he lowers the crane for Artyom. Crest tells him that he was a merchant. He was heading east and only stopped to make some sales, but the cultists attacked him and he had to escape. He gives Artyom binoculars and shows everything around them. The bridge, which could be their escape, and the terminal, which is considered holy by the cultists, and where the Tsarfish also happens to live. He also has a lot of safe houses, which Artyom can use. He then invites him into his home. After a quick gun cleaning, Crest shows Artyom how to use the zipline and they agree to meet at the train. Artyom goes back to the building where he first met with the human animals and faces even more of them. He eliminates them and hears a voice in his radio. It's Miller. Anna went to check some antennas and went missing. Artyom has to check what happened. He stumbles upon a hole in the ground and falls into it and finds Anna, who isn't wearing a mask. Down there, the air is very poisonous. Artyom puts a mask on her, and now he needs to find a way out. His wife can't climb in this condition, so the only way is the door, but it's locked. He sees a handwheel on the other side of the fence. That's where he goes. As he searches for a way, he realizes that the bunker is filled with mutants and he is out of ammo. He kills the remaining by hitting them with his gun and opens the door. Sam and Damir are waiting for them outside. Anna gets up, saying that she is feeling a little bit better. She calls her dad and calms him. Miller says that Stefan wants to convince him about letting Katya and Nastya come with them, but the colonel opposes. Anna tells Artyom he has to have Stefan persuade her father. When he arrives, Stefan informs him that Miller won't let them join the crew, even though Katya told them where they can find a fully functional passenger car. Artyom goes to talk to Miller. Inside, he finds him and Crest. The colonel offers him a seat and tells him the plan. There are trade caravans that do business with the bridge dwellers. Disguised as traders, the crew can get up on the bridge and lower it. Now they only have to wait for the traders' boat. Stefan and Anna steps in and try to convince Miller. He says that he doesn't want to take the Aurora there. Crest has an idea. He has a rail car hidden in the terminal. If Artyom can get that, he can tow the passenger car to the train. However, if the caravan is spotted, Artyom has to rush to the port. Crest hands over a breaker. The rail car won't run without it. He also says that if Artyom goes at night, there are more mutants, but humans are less aware. And during the day, the other way around. Duke is also on a mission in that area. He will give an update about the latest developments in the terminal. Katya and Nastya are grateful because the crew made it possible for them to join. Nastya asks Artyom to bring back her teddy bear that a demon took. Before he leaves, Idiot, Damir and Alyosha show him a tower where bandits live who have a guitar but they can't play on it. Stefan, however, knows how to play on one. So the crew asks Artyom to bring the instrument to Stefan. Artyom heads to the tower, where he starts eliminating the bandits. They put up a fight, but the Spartan beats them. He sees a villager who was taken hostage, so he frees him. And on top of the tower, there is the guitar. Stefan and the crew will be happy. Artyom decides that the first thing he wants to do is clear the place where the passenger car is located. On his way, he finds an abandoned building which is occupied by some more bandits. He kills them, but spares everyone who surrenders, and he arrives at his destination. He quietly starts to knock out guards, one after another. Before he can notice, he's already done. The place is safe. Now for the teddy bear. It's in a demon's nest. Artyom arrives at the marshalling yard and starts climbing up the storage tanks. On top, he sees a demon guarding its nest. Artyom kills it with one shotgun shot, picks up the teddy bear, and leaves before any more of the creature could show up. As he follows the rail, he finds a train car in bad condition, and inside there is Duke. He informs Artyom that the terminal can only be reached by boat. He also makes him aware of bandit activity in this area. One of the locations is in a gas station, and the other one is in a building where they even hold villagers as hostages. The latest is Artyom's first destination. He sneaks inside and starts taking down guards. It goes really well and quiet, until, because of the darkness, he fails to notice a dog and walks straight in front of it. Of course, the dog alarms the remaining bandits, and now Artyom has to fight through them. He delivers and also frees the captured villagers. One of them gives him a key. The key opens a door in the terminal. Might be useful. The next step is the gas station. Here, Artyom chooses not to sneak around. He kicks in the front door, shooting every bandit he can see. Those who surrender are spared as usual. Artyom waits till morning because the terminal is waiting for him. He takes the boat and rows inside. In the distance, he already sees humanimals roaming around. The darkness doesn't help either. He gets out and starts searching around. He finds the door the villager talked about. Inside he finds resources, including night vision goggles. That will make it a bit easier. And now the rail car. As he's looking for it, he sees the starfish in the water, while the mutants keep attacking Artyom. However, they are not a threat for him. After some time, he finds the rail car, but before he does anything, he notices a door. Inside, he sees that the fanatics have hung dead bodies above the water. That's what they feed the starfish with. Artyom cuts the rope that was holding them, which gets the starfish's attention. When it's near, Artyom pulls a lever, turning the rail cylinder containing a huge amount of debris, which injures the mutant fatally. After that, it lunges at Artyom, but couldn't reach him and dies. After that, he opens the main door, goes to the rail car, installs the breaker, and heads for the passenger car. The others are relieved that Artyom is fine. Artyom only has to stop once. He has to pull a lever to switch tracks. The rest of his path is easy. He previously eliminated the bandits, so he can couple the passenger car to the rail car and deliver it to the Aurora. When Artyom arrives, he gives Nastya her teddy bear. Then he reports to Miller, who tells him that it's time to execute the plan. Artyom's group will capture the tugboat from the merchants, then Crest, Artyom and Duke will go to the bridge with it. While Crest distracts the guards, Duke and Artyom climb up, find the control room and lower the bridge. Miller also asks Artyom to be an example for Duke, for he tends to take some unnecessary risks. He then gives Stefan his gift. He immediately tests it. Artyom goes to the rally point, where he meets the others. Anna tells him that there are about 15 guards, but if they capture the captain, the rest of them would surrender. They wait until dusk, and Artyom is ready. He starts sneaking. The night vision goggles are a huge help. He extinguishes fires, unscrews light bulbs, everything, so he can remain hidden. He slowly approaches the port, knocking out guards, and eventually reaches the captain. They tell him to order the guards to stand down and no one gets hurt. Crest, Duke, Artyom and the captain head to the bridge. Crest distracts the fanatics while Artyom and Duke get on. Artyom shows a good example for Duke by not hurting their enemies, only knocking them out. After a long time, they reach the control room where Father Silantius is preaching. He's kinda grateful because the Spartans didn't kill any of them, so in return, he lowered the bridge and tells his flock not to hurt the crew until they pass. Duke and Artyom then jumps onto the train and the locomotive finally leaves the Volga. Artyom is sleeping. He wakes up and Alyosha tells him that the colonel waits for him on the bridge. Anna and Artyom talk about their journey a bit. After that, the latest goes to check the radio and they hear some chatter. Anna then tells him that she's skeptical about the military's existence, at least in the old form. The other passengers and members of the order are just resting. Stefan gets along with Katya fine, and the boys just talk and drink. Damir says that his dream might come true as he could be visiting his country, Kazakhstan, while Sam wants to go back to his home in America. They are also excited about Yamantau. Artyom goes to Miller, who shows him a tape. He talked with the Ark. They don't talk about a lot of things, but they told Miller that there are no enemies in the area and they are doing fine in the bunker. However, when the size of the squad is mentioned, the major sounds disappointed, but he has promised Miller a meeting with the Minister of Defense. There are still a lot of questions though. Why hasn't the government done anything in the past 20 years? Why is there just wilderness everywhere? The colonel believes they will get answers to every question they have and even be pardoned once they arrive. Idiot goes ahead with the rail car to scout the area first. Then Miller decides to take the rail car with a couple of Spartans. They arrive at the bunker door. The minister checks the crew with the camera above the entrance and then lets them through. Sam is also skeptical, saying there are no soldiers at the front door. The colonel tells Sam and Idiot to wait here with Crest while he, Artyom and Anna go inside. They use the elevator, where Miller apologizes and thanks Artyom for not giving up. When they arrive, they stand in front of a glass panel. On the other side, there are 5 soldiers. The colonel introduces themselves and asks for quarters. Miller mentions that they have women and children with them, and the minister replies that they haven't had them in a while. They then attack the 3 Spartans, knocking Artyom out. When he gets his consciousness back, Every one of them is tied up. Miller talks to a doctor who tells him that they are going to eat them. They don't plan to eat Anna because they don't like her cough. They then knock Anna out and take her away. They put Miller on a table and the doctor leaves. Artyom looks up and sees that his fellow Spartans have come to rescue them. They kill the guards upstairs, jump down, and starts clearing the room. Meanwhile, the colonel breaks free and kills the one who held him down. They free Artyom, but they need to find Anna. They can't leave any of the cannibals alive, so the four start shooting them. They are worse than mutants. After a while, they get in an elevator and decide to split up to find Anna faster. Artyom continues alone. He squeezes through a door and begins reducing the enemy's number. They are pretty dumb. Eating human flesh probably left its mark. Artyom can't leave any of them alive. He reaches the freezer, where they store a lot of corpses. Artyom keeps killing the cannibals. No sign of Anna yet, however. He crawls through a vent and finds more of them. That must be the living quarters, but there are skulls and bones everywhere. Miller talks on the radio, saying that they successfully occupied the control room and that it is the rally point. He orders Idiot to lock down passages that they don't need and open the main gate. Meanwhile, Artyom keeps eliminating these barbarians. He reaches a door, opens it, and finds Anna. He tries to free her, but the doctor attacks him. They start brawling. Anna escapes and puts a knife to the throat of the doctor. He tries to talk his way out of the situation, but Anna slits his throat. They make contact with the colonel and Idiot shows them a way. In the control room, they hear the commander gives excuses for why they became cannibals. Miller executes him and apologizes to the crew. All the data is outdated here, but they notice a comm center, Caspian 1. That might be their next destination, but they can discuss that later. Sam says on the radio that it's getting intense there. Idiot collects some intel and they head to the exit. They use the elevator and kill every madman they see. They get out, jump on the rail car, and they get going by shooting their enemies. They successfully escape. The crew now thinks about what to do. They agree about finding a place to settle, but where? They can't just go around. Idiot says there is a satellite communication center in the Caspian Sea which survived the war. With the data collected, the center can help them find a livable place. That's the next goal. The Aurora arrives in the desert. The heat takes its toll on both the crew and the locomotive. They are almost out of fuel as well. Artyom and Anna talk on top of the train when suddenly a car crosses their path. They stop at a nearby village. The only members who are still in fighting conditions are Miller, Artyom, Anna, Krest, Damir and Yermak. The colonel sends out Anna and Damir to scout the area to find the bunker. Yermak tells the group the train is out of fuel and water, so Miller tasks Anna and Damir to look for both of those things. Artyom has a different mission. He has to find out who those men are with the car. The village has a comms relay, which might hold some info too. Tokarev gives him some incendiary bullets, and Artyom leaves. On his way, he encounters some snakes, humanimals, which usually hide in the sand here, so one more thing to pay attention to. The sandstorm reached the village. Artyom arrives at the hideout, but it looked deserted. He does see some mutants, but so far, that's it. As he gets closer, he hears a radio. Someone is alerting everyone about the arrival of the Aurora. He ends the mutants and heads to the top level of the building, where a thug immediately jumps him. Artyom dodges his attacks and knocks him out cold. Damir tries to make contact with him, but the signal is bad. However, the storm leaves. Artyom finds the car key on the bandit, but there isn't anything else here. He fights his way to the vehicle and tries to get in. Before he can do that, humanimals surprise him. He jumps the car key into one of their skulls and pushes it off of himself, but another attacks him right away. Luckily, Damir has been close, so he helps Artyom out. They discuss that Damir finds some antennas, which are on top of the lighthouse, so Artyom should check them out. Artyom jumps in the car and drives it. While he heads to the lighthouse, he hears the Baron, who is the leader of the thugs around here, speaking on the radio. He tells everyone that they should find out what the people from the train want. As Artyom drives to his goal, he runs into a shipwreck and sees that people are working on it. As he gets closer, he realizes that they are slaves. One of them tells him that their master is up on the top of the ship. Artyom has to liberate them. He reaches a room. Inside, 3 thugs. One of them is beating up a slave. He knocks the bandits out and keeps going. Using his skills, he eliminates 3 more with precise shots. That was all of them. It's time for the lighthouse. Miller talks on the radio. They have been contacted by a local lady, Gyu. She is being attacked by bandits at the lighthouse. If they help her, she might help them find a communications center. Artyom gets close to his goal and finds himself at the entrance of a cave. He hears the radio of a nearby car. The Baron speaks again. He orders his thugs to kill Gyu. Artyom enters the cave and sees a couple of thugs. Some of them were already killed by Gyu. Artyom sneaks close to the rest of them, knocks them out, and progresses towards his goal. When he gets out of the cave, he hears a huge amount of shooting and crouches toward the noise. A lot of thugs attack Gyu. Artyom helps her out, and in exchange, she lowers the elevator and lets Artyom up. She tells him that the Munai Bailer turned her people into slaves, but not her. They hear Miller on the radio inside, so Gyu answers. The colonel asks her about the antennas nearby. She says that her mother used to work there and the facility is long abandoned, but she will help Artyom get inside. He has to find the archive and look for shots taken after the war, starting with the year 2013. Damir will also be there soon. Miller out. Gyu and Artyom go there immediately. They talk on the way. The Munai Bailer has been in the oil business, which made the people believe that they are gods of fire. Gyu's mother died 5 years after the war. She knows how to open the door, but never goes deep because of the spiders. They go down and everything is full of spider webs, which Artyom burns down. The power's off, so Artyom turns on the electricity and they open the gate. Gyu gives directions to Artyom about where to go, but she will stay here because someone has to make sure that the power won't turn off. The Spartan gets in the elevator and Gyu asks him if he finds her mother's picture, bring it back. When he gets down, she shouts that the spider hates light, so he can use his lamp to his advantage. Artyom heads to the direction of the archives, burning down webs and killing mutant spiders. There are many of them and they are really fast. He eventually reaches a room where he turns on the power on the lower levels. Damir calls in to tell him that he is out with Gyu now. Artyom's way is blocked by a gate, but Damir opens it remotely. Artyom feels that he is near. As he gets deeper and deeper, the connection with Damir breaks up, so he talks to Artyom through the speakers. Damir tells him that the archive's door can only be opened from the inside, so he has to use the vents to reach it. But before that, he steps into a room where a dead body is holding a picture. The Spartan takes it, and in the picture he sees Gyu and her parents. Artyom climbs inside the vent, where the spider feels very comfortable. The branch vent is not making his job any easier. He eventually arrives at the archives. There are a lot of empty containers, but he finds one with the label year 2019. Artyom opens the door and heads to the elevator. The way back is also filled with the mutants. He reaches his destination and goes up, where the electricity is turned off, so the spiders have already shown up. The 3 fight their way out. Artyom then hands the picture to Gyu, who thanks him. Damir told her about Nastya, so she gives Artyom her father's canteen to give to the little girl. Maybe it will bring her luck. She also informs Artyom where to go next. Damir says that Anna is nearby that area. Artyom heads there and his wife starts talking on the radio. There is some activity there and some reinforcement would be preferable. She's out. The Baron also starts talking. He tells everyone that he spoke to Miller and makes fun of him. He says that the crew wants water, fuel and safe passage, but he has something else on mind. He puts a bounty on every train member's head. The message is over. Artyom in the meantime reaches another thug hideout and clears it. Then he goes to Anna and she shows him what she found. There is someone up the crane, which could be a good viewpoint to keep tabs on their base. Then there is another cracked ship. It's most likely that's where they keep the slaves. Past the port, there is a building which looks like an air control tower, and that could have a lot of equipment. Artyom decides that his first target is gonna be the crane. He gets close, but the sniper spots him. The Spartan moves closer and closer, always behind some cover. He's really close now, and he notices that there are more enemies than just a sniper. He takes down the ones on the ground and heads up. He reaches the sniper and deals with him. Anna tells Artyom that she is moving back to the base. Then the Baron speaks. He finally noticed that someone had wiped out their hideouts in the ruins. He blames the crew for it because they saw a stranger driving around their car. Then he's out. Artyom looks down from the crane and sees that he has unexpected guests. He takes them down behind the cover, one by one. The next destination is the ship. The Baron speaks again. He's not happy about the tribals. They wanted to multiply some slaves, but they didn't pay enough attention, and now they are attacking them. Then he's out again. Artyom infiltrates the ship and starts taking down the guards silently. That works for a while, but he gets noticed and doesn't hide anymore. He shoots most of the guards, but encounters a heavily equipped enemy, which is much tougher, but still no match for the Spartan. He then opens the slaves' cell door, freeing them. Another successful mission. The Baron speaks yet again. He now tells how he keeps the slaves in check, partly by fear and partly by making them believe in the eternal fire. Now for the air control building. Artyom goes in, collects some resources, and goes to check the other buildings when a car arrives. They are tribals. He kills them and goes on. He sees what looks like a demon's nest, but he heads inside anyway. Artyom deals with a couple of humanimals inside and finds a safe house. The Baron checks in and he is not happy about Artyom freeing the slaves. He plans something but checks out. Artyom goes to the place the Baron was talking about a couple of messages earlier, kills the thugs there, unlocking yet another safe house for himself. Artyom heads back to the train. He arrives, but so does a storm. He gives the map to Miller, who hands it to Idiot to analyze it, while Kress gives Artyom a drink. Now they have the map, but still lack water and fuel. Yul informs them where they can find water, but it's heavily guarded. Damir already reckoned the area and says that it can be approached stealthily. Before Artyom leaves, he gives Nastya her gift, who immediately runs to show it to her mother. Artyom then goes to the rendezvous point, but on the way, bandits block his path and start shooting him. He kills them all and goes to Damir. They start going down. No sign of any enemy yet. Damir hoped he would find something about his people, but the place is destroyed and that hurts him. They find the entrance, so they get ready. Artyom burns some nests inside and they put on their masks. There was a cave-in, but thankfully there is still space for them to pass through. This place is huge. A lot of people used to live here before the geysers opened up. They are trying to go around, but they get attacked by humanimals. They deal with them though. They reach a bridge and more of the mutants appear. The geysers catch on fire after some shots, so at least they can see something. It's a tougher ride than before, but they win. Damir and Artyom cross the bridge, pass through another cave-in, and they reach the surface. Damir says that they should keep it quiet. They have to save the slaves. The two also see a bucket elevator, which transports the water. Now the plan. Damir goes to hide behind the car, while Artyom opens the gate from the tower. When it's opened, Damir will rush in and Artyom will jump on top of the tank. Time to go. Artyom slowly sneaks to the top, always remaining in the shadows, and knocks out every guard he comes across. On top, he sees Damir in his place. Artyom then moves toward the tower, knocking most of the thugs out, but at one point he is noticed and has to act fast. He and Damir shoot the rest of the bandits. Artyom opens the gate, Damir gets the water tank, and Artyom jumps on top just as they planned. Artyom gets in the car and falls asleep. He wakes up to the sound of the incoming bullets. They are under attack. The bandits arrive under the sandstorm. The crew fights back and defeats the enemy. The colonel calls together everyone. This attack was just a small part of the Baron's army. Yul says that there are at least 700 more thugs, so they better get going. Not before they get fuel though. The Baron has a lot of that. The crew puts together the plan. If they open the gate quietly, they can steal a full tanker carriage. Yul can get some of the crew members inside. Artyom and Damir are chosen for the mission. Until that, Krest and Yermak prepare the Aurora, while the others get ready to leave. Artyom goes to meet with Damir and Yul. The Baron checks in and calls every thug to the oil rig, and then he's out. Artyom arrives and they talk about the plan. The main gate is well guarded, so that's off. The only way is through the prison cellar where they keep the slaves. While Artyom sneaks in, Damir and Gyul try to kill as many guards as they can, or at least distract them. Gyul also asks Artyom not to kill any slaves. They arrive at the entrance. Damir opens it while Artyom gets through. Artyom arrives in the darkness. He stays in the darkness and takes down his enemies from there. He slowly moves forward, doesn't want to risk any of the slaves' lives. At one point he is noticed, but he deals with the remaining two guards quickly. He remains unseen on the rest of his way to the surface. Miller then checks in. Damir tells him that there are more enemies than they thought, and Gyul went missing. The Aurora has to wait for the signal. Miller's out. Artyom continues sneaking when he hears gunshots. Damir is under fire. Artyom heads there, but by that time Damir has already dealt with the problem. Good news, the tank is full. Bad news, the gate is closed and can only be opened from the tower. Damir tells Miller that, and they agree on executing Plan B. The Baron calls in. He is surprised that the crew attacked their fortress, but he doesn't want them to throw their lives away. So he invites one of them up. Artyom goes. As he walks up, he sees that the fortress is pretty well made. Strong structure, guards everywhere. The crew has to come up with something in case things go south. Artyom reaches the door guarded by two thugs. He steps in and there is the Baron with guards and slaves. They take the Spartans' weapons and the Baron starts his explanation. He just wanted to bring some order into this chaotic world. He's ready to provide the crew fuel, but in exchange he wants Gyul. While they talk, two thugs bring tea for them. One of them aims a gun at Artyom, but before he can pull the trigger, Gyul shoots the thug. Artyom helps her and the woman gives back Artyom his gear. The Baron escapes to his room and locks it, while he orders his thugs to kill them. They are coming in wave after wave after wave. The two, however, stand their ground, killing every one of them. Meanwhile, the Baron keeps talking to them, when suddenly he goes quiet. That makes Gyul suspicious, so she goes into the room before the Baron can escape. She climbs over the fence, while Artyom holds back more of the thugs. From inside he hears Gyul screaming. When the fight is over, Damir arrives and they hear explosions. Gyul planted explosives in the oil rig, which started to blow up. Miller sent some people to cover their escape. Damir and Artyom open the door. The Baron plans to drop Gyul off the platform. Anna checks in saying she is in position. Another explosion makes the Baron lose his balance, letting go of Gyul, who just holds onto the edge. Artyom rushes to help her up, but Damir goes and takes his place and sends Artyom after the Baron. When he turns around, the Baron hits him with a metal bar and tries to push the Spartan down. Anna can't get a clear shot, so Artyom pushes the Baron's head away, making him an easy target. Miller says that the gate is open and they are hooking the tank up. Gyul wants to win the whole war, so she stays. Damir thanks Artyom for helping his people and goes with him. They use the zipline to get down and they watch the whole oil rig blow up. Anna and Artyom rest in their cabin when Stepan comes to say that the table is set so they can join them when they are ready. Anna talks about her childhood. Before the war, her father was an alcoholic, which made her mother the same until she couldn't take it anymore and she poisoned herself. She planned on taking Anna to the ocean shore to live there. Her father stopped drinking after her mother's death. She also wonders what her father's goals are, what makes him happy. Maybe he hasn't really had the time to think about those things. But Anna wants to fulfill her dream with Artyom, settling in a shore, raising kids, just be happy. Artyom joins the crew, Stefan plays on the guitar, and everyone is enjoying themselves. Anna and Artyom sits by the corner. Miller announces that they have found a place where they could settle. A river valley with forest and hydroelectric power plant, and it's far from highly dense territories. The corner then marries Stefan and Katya, and they all cheer the couple, when suddenly Anna starts coughing strongly and blood comes out. She passes out. Everyone is scared. Katya examines her when she wakes up and apologizes. She says that when they were in the Yamantau, the Gaul doctor said that her lungs are falling apart and she doesn't have lungs. All because of the gas she breathed in that ammo dump. Miller wants to talk to Katya and Artyom. The colonel is angry, but Katya calms him down. She says that they shouldn't immediately trust the diagnosis of the doctor. Maybe the sudden climate changes cause the symptoms, and maybe the valley with its forest air heals it. Katya will examine her just in case. The coroner wonders what if the diagnosis were true. Katya tells him that there was an air defense battery stationed in their village. When the war broke out, they received a new drug for people who were exposed to gas and general poisoning. She checks its name, but it was more than likely produced in Novosibirsk. Miller asks Yermak's opinion, who says that for Anna he would go to the edge of the world. Novosibirsk is not that far. It's only 2,000 kilometers. The plan is as follows. They head to the valley. If they can't settle there, or if Anna gets worse, he'll take a group of volunteers to find the drug. Miller also sends Artyom ahead in the rail car with a volunteer to check the valley out first. He then tells everyone the plan. He also needs someone to go with Artyom to check the valley. Alyosha volunteers for it. Then they toast to Katya and Stefan and start singing. Miller talks about how he would like to see grandchildren at his age. Artyom and Alyosha take the rail car to scout the area. The ride is quite bumpy because the rails are all bent. Time left a mark on them. They call the Aurora and tell the crew to take the main road. That needs to be fixed, so that will take a while, but the plan remains. They will meet at the dam. On the way there, Alyosha and Artyom injures the scenery when they notice a roar. Then a rock slide destroys the rails and they fall into the river. Artyom is pushed underwater, loses his backpack and almost suffocates when an unknown woman pulls him to the shore and resuscitates him. Artyom hears someone asking the woman if she has found anything, but she lies to them. She says that her friends captured Alyosha, but she can see that they are not bandits. She will help them later if they don't do anything stupid. Olga also gives advice to Artyom that he should stay out of sight, but now she has to go. She will catch him later. Artyom passes out. He wakes up to a deer licking his face while wolves howl in the distance. He gets up and goes to find Alyosha. He heads up a stair and on a statue he finds a crossbow. There is also a note warning bandits that this territory belongs to the president of the coast and threatens the intruders with death. Artyom hears a bandit and goes to investigate. As he gets closer, he sees the bandit is tied up and is about to be eaten by wolves. He intervenes, killing the beasts and freeing the men. He advises Artyom not to go there unless he moves like a ghost. Artyom, however, doesn't have a choice. He crosses the valley and goes for a while, where he finds some buildings. It looks like someone resides in this area. He reaches another bridge when two pirates stand in his way and tell him that another step and they will attack. Artyom backs up and chooses another path. He doesn't want to kill them. He goes down on the bridge and heads to another entrance. Guards are standing there, so he waits for his opportunity and knocks them out, slowly but surely. He can't risk being seen. He gets inside and starts clearing them out, building by building, always staying in the shadows. He reaches the top of the tower where he hears Anna on the radio. She wants to make contact with Artyom or Alyosha. They can't answer, so Anna is worried. Miller is also there. Anna wants to go after them, but the coroner says that the rail is in bad condition. He speaks on the radio once more, telling Artyom and Alyosha to contact them. If they can't, they will be at the dam. The call ends. Artyom uses the zipline to get down, but at the end of it gets stuck and the line snaps. Artyom manages to hold onto the edge of a rock. Before he pulls himself up, he notices a huge beast, a mutant bear which is chasing some wolves. Artyom climbs up and starts going. He consistently hears the roars of the beast and sees animals running for their lives. Artyom has to climb up a rock. He hears the beast again and some small rock slides follow, but he reaches a cave entrance and heads in. He slides down to the exit and after a few steps he hears a whistle and the trap captures him. 4 men appear, 2 pirates and 2 pioneers. They start arguing. The pioneers want Artyom to face their court, while the pirates want to kill him. The latest also mentions that they took his backpack. Suddenly Artyom hears footsteps approaching. He looks up to his right and he finds himself face to face with the beast. However, it decides to attack the man down. They throw molotovs at it, which made it furious. With just one punch, it kills one of them. The rest of them escape. The burning bear goes away as well. Artyom, still having his knife, cuts the rope and falls on the ground. He gets going, avoiding the burning parts of the ground. He climbs up to the tree houses and uses one of the zip lines there, which leads him to one of the escaped pirates who is dying because of the injuries the bear caused. Besides him, Artyom finds his backpack. The pirate talks to Artyom. His voice is getting tired. He has no regret. He defended what's theirs. He also tells Artyom to kill him or leave. Artyom decides that he won't kill him and starts going down the road. He just takes a couple of steps when he hears some talking. He quickly finds shelter in a cave while the pioneers go away. He then goes further down the road until he climbs up to another tree house. He checks around, uses the zip lines to get into the camp, where he knocks out a nearby guard silently. He then eavesdrops on a conversation between the pioneers and the pirates. They say the same thing as the ones who captured Artyom. Pirates want to kill him, while the pioneers want to take him to the forest court. Artyom continues sneaking around, reaching one of them who is hitting the drums and makes him silent. One of the pirates notices that he has stopped and wants to send someone up to check him. Artyom goes to the nearby house. He hears more of them and wants to knock them out. He peeks from the door, but they stand in front of each other so they would spot him. He then decides to go with a different approach. He goes around, but it's the same on the other side, so he goes back. Suddenly they end their conversation and everyone goes on with their thing. One of them comes into the house, where he became an easy prey for Artyom. He then goes down the stairs and sneaks past a couple of more guards who are distracted talking to each other. Artyom looks around, and when they end their conversation, he goes back to knock the one on the ground out and goes up, where he finds a cave. He goes through it. In the exit, he finds himself in the water. He still goes on. He sees light from afar. He approaches it, and there is a pioneer near a campfire. Artyom steps on a twig, which makes the guard notice him. He says that he is not an enemy, and unlike the pirates, they only kill bandits. He also tells Artyom that they took Alyosha to their camp, and he will most likely be released after the forest court, and asks him not to kill anyone. Artyom goes through the camp again and uses a zipline to get down. There he finds himself in a canyon, so he starts going through it. He hears the bear again, so he looks up and there it is. It crosses the canyon on a tree. Artyom keeps going and finds another cave. He goes in and hears a gunshot. When he gets closer, he finds a dead man dropped from above. His killer is still up there guarding the hole where he dropped the body. Artyom finds a ladder, climbs up and hears another man scream in pain. They are bandits who captured and killed some of the pioneers. One is still alive. Artyom decides to help him. He shoots one of the bandits with an arrow and knocks the other one out, but he wasn't quick enough and they alerted the rest of them. They come to kill Artyom, but even a small village of bandits is no match for him. He kills each and every one of them. Then he frees the pioneer, who thanks him. Artyom leaves him so he can mourn his dead friends. He reaches the outer gates of a church. He goes in and approaches the main gate. When he tries to open it, the beast breaks the gate and attacks him. Artyom now faces a decision. He could run away, but that's not really him. So he fights. His tactic is to shoot it, then run away when it charges. It goes on for a little while, but eventually he makes the bear run away. Artyom climbs up on the ladder and he hears Miller and Anna. They are still worried about them and repeat what they said before about meeting at the dam. Artyom fuels up the generator and unlocks another safe house. He cleans his guns and wants to go on his way, but when he opens the door, Olga appears with a crossbow directed at Artyom. She lowers the weapon and introduces herself. She praises the Spartan for standing his ground against the beast. Olga then tells him that Alyosha is already at the dam, but she can't go with Artyom there. However, she will give him some directions. He'll need a boat, but the pirates have all of them. She tells him that he should stay out of their sight and steal one. Artyom should take the road to the barricade, then to the swamp, and find the dock. That's where she took one with Alyosha. So Artyom heads there. He takes the road and finds the swamp really quickly. Hiding in the grass, he manages to sneak closer. He gets to the dock and steals the boat, but the pirates notice him and start shooting. He reaches the gate, which would be his pass, but it's closed, so he gets out to open it. He doesn't want to kill any of them, so he has to get closer to knock them out. He does knock a few out until he finds a way to open the gate. He gets in the boat and starts rowing. After a while, he reaches his next stop. He climbs up to the top of a tower, where he uses a zipline to get closer to a building. Now he has to wear his mask because of the radiation. There are a lot of mutant shrimps around, so he starts shooting them, but someone shouts at him from above that he'll only attract more. He goes inside and tries to go up, but the elevator is not working. He has to find the generator quickly because he'll run out of filter soon. Artyom rushes through the building and finds the generator in a smaller building. He starts it and rushes back to the elevator, which takes him up, where he doesn't need his mask anymore. It's time to find out who was warning him. He kicks the door in and there is a man in a wheelchair who is called the Admiral. He can decide whether Artyom is a bandit or not. The Admiral sits at a table with two corpses. When he asks a question, he covers his mouth and pretends that the dead men answer him. He went crazy here. The Admiral offers Artyom some tea, which he accepts. They talk a bit more. Artyom even plays the guitar, and after some time, the Admiral falls asleep. Artyom goes on his way, reaches the top level, where he hears Miller on the radio. He talks about how he sent out two men to look for Anna's medicine, but it was a military experiment, so it would be difficult to find it in a village's pharmacy. Sam, who was sent out, arrives and tells the colonel that he only found painkillers. The call ends there. Artyom uses the zipline and follows the road. Once again he sees the beast, then heads inside a tunnel. He burns the spider webs and sees some mutants. He keeps going when suddenly his flashlight starts flickering and turns off, even though it's fully charged. Now in the dark he can only rely on his lighter and night vision scopes. He heads up the stairs until he reaches a door. Using his lighter as a source of light, he takes out a couple of spiders. Then he ignites the torches on the wall so that he can see somewhat better. He's slowly progressing, mutant by mutant, torch by torch. He reaches the door, but it's locked. Then he looks down and notices a vent. He crouches through it, and there are even more spiders than before. But at least his flashlight works again. He starts taking them out, but it seems that there are too many of them. He has to turn on the main lights, which will chase the creatures away. He finds the generator and starts it up, which partly lights up the building. He heads up the stairs, where he finds a big gate. Now that there is electricity, he can open it. On the other side though, full darkness. At least he finds a workbench so he can clean his gun and make some ammo. It's time to keep going. He uses another case of stairs which leads to another door. He goes in and once again hears the beast outside. It's near. Artyom sees a ladder, climbs it, and he can now hear Alyosha. He exits the building and Alyosha almost hits him. When he recognizes him, he is happy that Artyom made it. Alyosha tells him that he made contact with the Aurora, but the situation in the valley is more difficult than they thought. There is a lot of radioactive sediment behind the concrete, and soon it will be the end of the valley. The dam barely holds. No one can stay in the valley for a long time, so the crew has to keep going. They have to reach the zipline. That will take them to the dam. The Aurora will be there soon too. Anna's condition has worsened as well. As they get closer to the zipline, they hear the beast. They try to cross a bridge, but it collapses under them. They don't fall big, but Alyosha gets stuck between two rocks. When he gets out, the bear appears behind him, but instead of him, it attacks Artyom. The beast may remember him, and it's not happy to see him again. It wants revenge. Before it could end Artyom's life, Alyosha throws a Molotov at the creature, saving his friend, but grabbing the monster's attention. The beast hit him, but it's not fatal. Then it turns back to Artyom, but it has to put the fire out, so the mutant climbs up while Artyom follows it. Everywhere the beast went, it set the surroundings on fire too. Artyom uses the same tactic that he used at the church. A quite long fight begins. Artyom shoots it and runs. Then the beast hits him, and they both get to the edge of the platform, which under their weights collapses. Luckily for Artyom, he was more inside than the beast, but he still has to hold on to the edge for his life. Alyosha rushes to help his friend. Artyom looks down and the bear is still there, trying to hit him. Artyom stabs the monster in the eye and makes the beast fall to its death. Alyosha pulls up Artyom and together they make the line tense again. Olga and her friends appear. Alyosha bids farewell to her and, accompanied by Artyom, uses the zipline. While they slide, he warns Olga one more time about the dam. Artyom can see the train arriving at the dam. They land, detach the carabiners and run to catch the train. Alyosha gets up, Artyom sprints and Miller helps him get aboard. He tells him that Anna is in bad shape. They have to act quickly. Anna is looking at a picture. She then shows a picture of the Pacific Ocean and says she has always known they have to go there. She is really sick, but she believes that they will reach their goal. She believes that Artyom will save her. Katya comes in, sends Artyom away and gives Anna a shot of medicine. Krest invites Artyom to discuss some things. He also alerts every soldier. As Artyom heads there, he sees Alyosha trying to warn Olga one more time on the radio. Artyom joins the rest of them. They talk about the situation. To get the medicine, they have to go to Novosibirsk. The thing is, based on the maps, the radiation is very high there. They are 500 kilometers away and the radiation levels are higher than in Moscow. So the colonel decides that he and Artyom should go to get the medicine. His reasons are his paranoia about the occupation forces drove her into the dump and Artyom dragged everyone out of Moscow. The rest of them have to find a snowplow for the Aurora and search the Akademgorodok labs in case the medicine is there. The radiation levels being so high might be good news for them too. The drugstores and labs are most likely untouched. Tokarev prepared the radiation suits, but there are only 2 complete ones, and even those will only last a couple of hours. They arrive in the deadly city, which is completely frozen. The radiation levels are already 8 times higher than in Moscow, and it's still going up. Artyom and Miller are ready. They head inside to talk about the plan one more time. Stepan, Krest, Sam and Idiot will pay a visit to the Institute building in Akademgorodok, then they'll check the Railroad Museum. Alyosha and Tokarev will stay to guard the Aurora, while Artyom and Miller will check the Institute's main building, but because of the radiation, they will go there through the metro. Then everyone goes to do their part. Artyom and Miller go through the train. They want to check on Anna one last time. Even though she's asleep, Artyom can still check on her. The colonel and Artyom then gear up and get in the car. It's time to go. They go through the deserted city, looking for a metro entrance. Through buildings, up the stairs, and they found one. However, they can't enter because of the snow. Artyom takes the wheel and Miller navigates him. They have to take a detour from the main road, but they end up stuck, so they continue on foot. After a small walk, they find a somewhat caved-in metro entrance. Artyom gets inside the bus to go deeper, but he slips and falls right at the bottom. Miller gets down as well. The only way in the metro is through a train car. They pry open the door and start going through it. At least 1-year-old skeletons everywhere they look. They get out of the car and the air is breathable again, but now mutants lurk in the shadows. They reach a dead end where they find a small opening. Artyom is the first to go. He squeezes through the gap and a more mutant immediately attacks him. Miller kills it, but more and more come. Together they fight back, take them down, and continue their journey to the institution. They enter a room where Artyom turns on the electricity and they keep going. They reach a water collector room. However, they are unlucky because the bridge is destroyed. Miller says that usually in places like this, there are 2 levels, so they head to the lower one. They go to the water where they have to fight off lianas. Miller mentions that something is in the water, so they have to move quickly. They get out and find the remains of the locals. They keep going, finding more of them. The colonel mentions that they died a year ago at Most. They reach a tunnel, which can collapse any minute, so they'd better hurry. They arrive at the station's outskirts, finding more corpses and tanks. This was war. The people were protecting the station with the armored trolleys, and when those were taken out, they blew up the tunnel. Artyom and Miller decide to check the station out. As they get closer, the coroner gets a strange feeling. They climb over the dead bodies and go through a car. They talk about how they caught a lot of radiation out on the surface. They find the place where the war ended. They want to open the gate but see the corpses moving. They keep watching them when suddenly a more mutant climbs up from there. More and more of them arrive, but together they manage to take them out. They open the gate and arrive at Sibirskaya, a line transfer station. They go up the stairs and their Geiger counter starts crackling. The radiation here is higher but not that life-threatening. They find some cylinders. The people here probably gassed the whole station. They reach another gate but the handle is cut off, so they have to find another way. Artyom and Miller head to the service tunnels. They head down the stairs and reach the tunnels. They plan where to go and jump down. They notice some footprints and hear some static, so they get ready for an attack. Artyom checks out the loose grate, which comes off easily, and inside, to their big surprise, is a boy. He takes advantage of the crouching Artyom, pushes him, outmaneuvers Miller, and slips through the bars of the gate. Miller helps Artyom get over the gate, and he starts chasing the kid. He has to be careful, because the boy set up traps, which could cost Artyom his life. After the chase, they reach a dead end where the boy is hiding somewhere. They tell him that he has nothing to fear. They eventually find him in a barrel. He tries to get away from Artyom, but on the other side of the bars, Miller catches him. The boy tells him his name and unit and fears that Miller and Artyom are with them. Miller doesn't know who he means by them, but he calms the boy, saying that if they kill children, they are against them. Kirill then agrees to take them to his commanding officer. Their destination is the Prospect station. Miller tells the young boy that they have to go to the institute. The boy, whose name is Kirill, doesn't understand why they would go there, saying there is no more green stuff left. Miller doesn't know what the green stuff is, and the boy asks which station they are from. Miller answers, but their conversation is interrupted by mutants. The coroner helps him reach safety in a vent until the threat is over. Miller and Artyom defeat the Nosalises and then tell Kirill to come out, but there is silence. After a little while, the boy answers and they see him standing in the gate. He turns on the light and Miller tells him how they got here. Kirill then opens the gate. He thought that the two Spartans were with the rioters. There was a war here. They reach Kirill's residence and they talk. He tells them that it's only he and his dad who remain after the war. His father is now on a mission. Kirill also tells him that they had a lot of green stuff, like the rich guys. Miller notices satellite maps and asks Kirill where they get these. He answers, saying stalkers brought these in. The coroner wants to know when his father will return, but the boy doesn't know. He left a month ago, and they last talked 3 weeks ago. His mission was to go to the SATCOM center to get a map, so they could go to a livable place. Miller asks for his radio and contacts the Aurora. There is a change of plans. Artyom goes to the institute, while the coroner goes to the SATCOM center to get maps. He also asks about Anna, but the call gets cut off. They gear up, Kirill hands them some anti-rad, and they split up to carry out their mission. Artyom walks through the destroyed station, collecting resources on the way. He gets in a train car and goes through it when mutants attack him. He kills the monsters and heads upstairs, where he goes through another car and reaches a platform. At the end, he finds himself in a room where he finds mutants jumping on a wooden platform. However, this one is not stable, so as soon as Artyom sets foot on it, it collapses, which makes the Spartan fall, and another fight begins. Artyom takes down all of them and heads up the stairs. After some walking, there is a handwheel on the wall, so Artyom turns it, which opens the door of another locomotive car. He goes through it and reaches the end of the station. Now he gets in a boat to proceed, but notices the door, so he stops to check it out. Inside, he finds some resources, alongside with some mutants, but on the way out, he sees a long, snake-like monster as it goes through a hole in the wall, which makes the other mutants run away. Artyom gets out and continues his journey. He goes through the tunnel where little worms and lianas try to kill him, but he reaches the end and finds himself in a big room. A big worm immediately attacks him and pushes him into the water. He climbs back to the boat and realizes there are more than one worm. He kills one, but while he reloads, another one pulls him into the water again. Artyom once again climbs up, but the worm is gone. He rolls to the stairs and goes up. Suddenly, two worms appear, so he shoots at them, but they get away. Everything seems to be covered with slime. He checks out one car and heads to the other. Inside, he finds some little worms, which aren't a threat to him. As he goes through, he notices that he keeps sliding back because of the slime. He gets out and heads upstairs, where he searches a room. Artyom goes outside and lowers some stairs. Down, he finds another door, which leads him into a workbench, so he repairs some of his gears and makes some medicines. He then crawls through a hole, heads up, and now has a boat to continue. He gets down where the big worms attack him again, then they disappear just as fast as they showed up. Artyom gets in the boat and starts rowing until he notices one of the creatures, so he puts it out of its misery. He rows some more, stops again, and kills another, but more come. The Spartan stands his ground, but eventually they go away. Now he enters another tunnel. As he goes further in, the stronger the radioactivity is, which suddenly knocks him out. When he wakes up, he hallucinates Anna sitting on the platform. He quickly gets a shot of anti-red and keeps going. That's enough for him to head to his goal, but it doesn't stop the visions. Blacking out, strange noises, floating things. He reaches the stairs and heads up. He collects some resources and hears Miller and Kirill on the radio. The coroner says that he got the map and tells the boy that if he can reach Artyom, tell him to hurry up. Artyom keeps heading up, sees floating skeletons, and hears some mutants growling and screaming outside. He reaches the top and gets out of the building. He walks through the snowy land, seeing the ghosts of fallen soldiers while hearing their conversation. The radiation is getting higher. He reaches the tunnel, jumps down, and sees a huge monster in the distance. He feels like the monster is trying to talk to him. The Spartan goes through the tunnel and reaches a building. Meanwhile, Miller and Kirill try to communicate, but are unable because of the static. This is the institution. Artyom goes in and finds dead bodies. He keeps heading to his goal, but starts seeing things again. Sometimes about Anna, sometimes about other things. He goes up the stairs and Kirill messages him, telling him what the coroner told him. Artyom finds a room and plays a film. It's about the medicine he's been looking for. It cures damaged tissues, especially lung tissues. He has to be close, but he doesn't know how much radiation he can take. He crawls under a blocked exit and hears the monster talk to him again. He sees a ladder, climbs up, and sees it. A huge gorilla-like monster sniffs the air before it attacks him immediately. It grabs Artyom, but the Spartan cuts its arm, which makes it drop him. However, the mutant won't give up that easily. It starts dragging Artyom for a while, then leans over him, so the Spartan cuts its throat. It doesn't have a huge effect on it though. The monster starts throwing things around, so Artyom tries to take it down. This goes on for some time, but because it is so tough, Artyom decides it's better to leave and heads inside. He keeps hallucinating about Anna. Artyom has to switch the power back on. He does that and another monster appears. It doesn't react to Artyom flashing his flashlight on it, so it must be blind. Artyom slowly goes around it, opens the door and heads up. He reaches the top and doubles over in pain. Hearing his wife's voice gives him enough strength to keep going. However, another blind one stands in his way. Artyom maneuvers through the tables and successfully avoids it. He goes through another room and up the stairs, but he feels weaker and weaker. He sees Anna again. After realizing that it isn't Anna, he enters another building and sees another blind one. Artyom tricks it and heads down. There he goes through a corridor full of dead bodies. Seemingly Anna leads him, but it's just another corpse. He reaches the end, where he sees a couple of blind ones. There won't be any problem if he's careful. He turns on part of the electricity, but still needs to turn on the other part. He tries to avoid the mutants, but one hears him. Plan B. It's time to outrun them. After some chasing, Artyom finds the other box, turns it on, and the door is now open. He gets away from the mutants, but once again doubles over in pain. Anna talks to him, saying it's okay to give up. Artyom won't stop though. He sees his wife's body in an elevator, so he gets in, but it falls down. There is another door. Artyom slips through it and starts looking for the cure. He finds it, but doesn't have much time to celebrate. The blind one arrives and starts chasing Artyom through a vent. The Spartan keeps crawling away from it until he reaches the end. He gets out and they start fighting on the fire escape. The mutant swings at him with big force, which makes him fall to a level below them. The blind one follows him, which makes the already weak platform fall apart. The mutant tries to hold on, but Artyom kicks it in the face, which makes it fall. The blind one still tries to reach for Artyom, but a huge icicle pins its head to the ground. Artyom passes out. He feels like the end is near. At that moment, Miller arrives. He is just as weak as Artyom. The coroner gives his son-in-law an anti-red, puts him in the car, and starts driving. He tries to keep Artyom awake by talking to him on the way, but he falls asleep. He wakes up to Kirill trying to wake the coroner up, but he can't. However, he notices that Artyom is awake. Kirill tells him that Miller tried to teach him to drive, but he passed out. Artyom takes the wheel and drives towards the others. His long journey is coming to an end. After a while, they get stuck, and Artyom passes out as well. He wakes up and it's daytime already. He collects his remaining strength and gets up. The rest of the crew hurries to help him. Artyom loses his consciousness again. He wakes up to the crew bringing him on the train. He got badly irradiated as well as the coroner. They have to give Artyom an emergency transfusion. Luckily, his blood type is AB positive, so everyone could give him blood. He falls asleep. In his dream, he sees a demon baby on him. Miller arrives and invites him on a walk. He wakes up from time to time. Stefan gives him blood and notices he is awake. He tells Artyom to fight for the life he has ahead of him. Artyom then blacks out again. Artyom picturing this as when he was a kid. Miller holds his hand as they head to the surface and asks him why he stopped. He was the one who opened the airlock back then, after all. Now in real life, Yermak gives him blood. When he wakes up, he tells him that this isn't his destination. In his dream, they keep walking to the surface. Alyosha gives Artyom some quality blood, as he calls it. They keep going. Now Damir gives blood to him and tells him that he finally feels like he belongs to something, and that's because of Artyom. Miller and Artyom are almost there. Duke also tells him that Artyom has a lot to do in this life. Miller and Artyom arrive at Lake Baikal. The colonel apologizes and admits that Artyom was right for wanting them to get out of the metro. He was simply afraid. Tokarev notices that Artyom is smiling in his dream. Miller tells him that it's his fault that Anna fell into that bunker and he is very sorry for it. Anna appears behind Artyom and begs him not to die. That makes Miller talk about her. He tells Artyom that he has to look after her now that he can't. Katya says that Anna also wants to give blood to Artyom. The medicine worked on her. Miller says that he has a daughter, but he always wanted a son as well. A stubborn one. Just like him. Just like Artyom. He likes this place. He'd like to stay here forever. So he asks Artyom if he can arrange it for him. His time is up. He tells Artyom that now he has to lead the order to save people. Then he says goodbye to him. Artyom wakes up. Anna and the crew are there. Katya tells him that the fever is subsiding. Now both Anna and Artyom need to rest. After some time, they found the place where Miller took Artyom in his dream. The hill on the shores of the Baikal. They laid Miller to rest on that hill, just as he asked. Everything here is clean. The rest of the crew elects Artyom as the new leader of the order. Sam asks him what's next. He would like to say that they all go home in here, but this place is too big for them. They will have to go back to the metro to bring the remaining people here, to live here, together.